Was there ever a doubt that Luka Doncic's return to Dallas would be anything short of electrifying? The night delivered every emotion imaginable, cheers that shook the arena, a few scattered boos, and moments that tugged at the heart. Luka's homecoming wasn't just a game, it was an event. And true to form, when the lights shined brightest, Luka gave fans exactly what they came for. A performance worthy of center stage.
Step back, three-pointer in the corner, that's good! Oh, Doncic locked in from the opening tip!
Step back three from the corner, cash. Luka Doncic wasted no time setting the tone, coming out dialed in and scorching from his very first touch. But this night wasn't just about Luka's jaw-dropping 45-point performance in front of a crowd he clearly still holds close to his heart. It went far beyond the box score. This was global, a moment that pulled in eyes far beyond Dallas and LA. It was the ripple effect of one man's bold conviction, a belief that he could outmaneuver the odds, that he could trade the untouchable. And as the consequences of that gamble took center stage, Mavericks GM Nico Harrison stood beneath the blinding arena lights, surrounded by a thunderous chant ringing from every corner of the AAC. Fire Nico!
Puts it up and in, 45 for Doncic.
All the while, the wee-wee-uri, very player Nico Harrison let go was putting on a clinic, bucket after bucket, relentless and unstoppable. With his 45th point, he didn't just close out the game, he delivered a poetic, almost cruel exclamation point that sealed the Mavericks' fate and made the entire arena feel the weight of that fateful decision.
A night for Doncic that began in tears and it ends in triumph.
Then, in a moment that felt straight out of a movie, he walked off the court to a thunderous standing ovation. Every person in the arena, on their feet, applauding the man who once wore their colors, who once called Dallas home.
Hey, my baby. Doncic pulls up, three-pointer.
That standing ovation spoke volumes, proof that Dallas still holds a deep, unwavering love for Luka Doncic. And if there were ever any doubts about whether that love goes both ways, last night erased them completely. Luka's heart, without question, still beats for this city.
Got it from Kleba, again late in the clock, in desperation, he lights it up, and that is Luka Magic!
Luka Doncic was never the kind of player looking for an exit. By the age of 25, he had already led the Mavericks to 2 Western Conference Finals and a trip to the NBA Finals. He didn't just give Dallas highlight reels. He gave them legacy moments, performances that belong not just in team history, but in the broader legend of the NBA itself.
Oh, Doncic locked in from the opening tip.
Now, Dallas could only watch from afar. But on this unforgettable night, fans had one last chance to see Luka Doncic in action up close, and deep down, we all knew exactly how this was going to unfold. With the Lakers fighting for the number 3 spot in the West, Luka answered the call in a massive way. He exploded for 45 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals, delivering the kind of performance only he can provide. But it was the first half where the magic really began. From the opening whistle, Luka was all over it. He immediately went at his good friend Derek Lively, seeking the switch and reminding him that on the court, friendships don't count. Luka smoothly drained a bucket, leaving Lively helpless. A few minutes later, Luka was off and running on the break, with only Spencer Dinwiddie standing between him and the basket. Luka breezed past him, finishing with ease, but Luka wasn't done. Far from it. He cranked up the excitement for the Dallas crowd, going after Lively once more. He cut into the paint and delivered a slick wraparound pass to Dorian Finney-Smith before quickly relocating to the corner, always ready for more. By this point, Luka was in full control, locked in, and feeling the rhythm. And just to remind everyone, watching who the real threat was, he set his sights on Anthony Davis next. It didn't matter who was guarding him. When Luka Doncic finds his rhythm, there's simply no stopping him. And in that first quarter, he made that crystal clear. Dallas gambled, trying to defend him one-on-one, and it was a mistake they'd quickly regret. Whether it was Derek Lively, P.J. Washington, Anthony Davis, Najee Marshall, or even Klay Thompson, none of them had any answer for Luka. He sliced through them all, putting on a masterclass that left the home crowd in awe. He capped off the half with a dagger of a shot, reaching 31 points before halftime, completely locked in from the get-go. Now, this isn't an attack on Anthony Davis. He's still a star, a true Laker, but the contrast was impossible to ignore. In a matchup between two franchise pillars, Luka dropped 31 in the first half, while Davis managed just 4. Yet, somehow, Davis wasn't the most criticized player in the building. That distinction went to Mavericks GM Nico Harrison. As Luka tore through the game, Harrison stood courtside, feeling the weight of the boos and the relentless chants of "Fire Nico" echoing from the crowd. This wasn't just a regular loss. It symbolized what many are now calling one of the biggest mistakes in sports history. One game, one performance won't change the Mavericks' future. But moments like this serve as a painful reminder of how much has been lost. It's no longer just about wins and losses. It's about revenue, ticket sales, merchandise, and even sponsors walking away. The franchise could lose hundreds of millions in the coming years with attendance dropping and fan loyalty eroding. Sports often get painted with drama, and sure, we sometimes fall into the hype. But this isn't exaggeration. You can't overstate what Luka Doncic meant to Dallas. The connection between him and the city was something rare, built on moments of magic and brilliance. That's why they called it Luka Magic. To trade that away and to let it all unfold in such a public and painful way is a wound that won't heal quickly. It might never heal at all. Back to the court, Luka's been on an absolute tear. His last 4 games, he's looked downright unstoppable. He outshined Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He dominated Anthony Davis. He shredded the NBA's top-ranked defense. And, just for good measure, he torched the Mavericks, who came in with extra motivation to prove something. The scary part? This version of Luka looks like a force of nature. As J.J. Redick put it, it felt almost disappointing that he only finished with 45 points.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to get 50. I was disappointed.
J.J. Redick was half joking. Well, mostly. But let's be honest, it looked like Luka might drop 50. It wasn't just the electric atmosphere or the high stakes. It was the Mavericks' defense, or lack of it, what I didn't mention. Earlier is how Luka's approach against the Thunder was different. Against OKC, Luka played the role of the playmaker, dissecting the defense and finding open teammates. The Thunder doubled him, and Luka made them pay, dishing assists like this one to Hayes for an easy dunk. Or here, where Luka drew help and kicked out to Finney-Smith for a perfect dish to Vando at the rim. The problem with doubling Luka? It leaves shooters open, and Luka's always smart enough to take advantage. But the Mavericks didn't double him. They tried to defend him one-on-one. Their defensive game plan, it didn't work. Luka scored 31 points by halftime, and every defender they threw at him, whether it was Lively Davis or anyone else, got cooked. That's why Luka is a generational talent. There's no right way to guard him. We've seen him torch every kind of defense in every type of game. But apparently, Nico Harrison forgot that basic fact when he made the trade. After this performance, I'm sure that lesson hit hard for him. If you made it to the end, don't forget to subscribe for more. And if you think Nico Harrison's one of the worst GMs in the league, hit that like button. Have a great day.